Protests continue to rock the country over the police killings of Eric Garner and Mike Brown. These protests have even spread to professional athletes like NFL players, NBA players, and the National Spelling Bee Hall of Socially Inept Champions. But something interesting connects the cops who committed these horrible acts. Darren Wilson, Daniel Pantaleo, and even a third cop, Timothy Lohman, the Cleveland officer who shot and killed 12-year-old Tamir Rice. All three have past records that are spottier than the skin of a 17-year-old meth addict working as a French fry cook at McDonald's. You know, it's not easy to be a meth head and hold down a job, so I think that joke was really celebrating that young man. Before killing Mike Brown, Darren Wilson worked at a police force that was so corrupt and racist, the entire force was fired and disbanded. Can you fathom how racist you have to be viewed by authorities as way too racist in Missouri? In Missouri, this is not the accepting, loving paradise of Oregon, where it's considered tough to get elected if you're not transgender. This is Missouri, and the good old boys in power there had a meeting where they thought that police force is really racist. All right, I mean, it's making us polite, functionally racist people look bad. We got to put that entire force out to pasture, all right? So they fired the force, and then the Ferguson PD apparently saw Darren Wilson's resume and thought, too racist, huh? I like the cut of this young man's jib. We could use someone who really sees color. Daniel Pantaleo, the cop who choked Eric Garner to death, has been sued not once, but 3 times for violating the rights of black New Yorkers. But don't worry, he's not alone. Misconduct allegations against city police officers filed with the Civilian Complaint Review Board dropped to 11,500 in 2013, the lowest total in a decade. 11,000. That means you could take the number of NYPD officers with misconduct allegations against them and overflow the 10,000-seat Mohegan Sun Arena during the upcoming Kenny Rogers Christmas Spectacular. If you wanted to create the most uncomfortable outing for a Muslim American family in history. Finally, there's Officer Timothy Lohman, who killed a 6th grader within 2 seconds of arriving on the scene because the boy was holding a toy gun, even though Lohman was repeatedly told by the dispatcher the gun looked fake. Lohman, it turns out, was deemed unfit for duty a full 2 years prior when he worked in a different suburb. His superior officers said of his firearm training, he could not follow simple directions, could not communicate clear thoughts, and his handgun performance was dismal. Could not communicate clear thoughts! Could communicate clear thoughts! Jesus, are you kidding me? Imagine you've got a guy walking around who's like, peanut butter needs to go empty pants, boom shakalaka. And you then hand him a gun and bullets. I could see giving him like a rubber band on the finger thing, maybe, or like a koosh ball he could fling. But a real gun? We have a guy around the office here. We don't leave alone with the stapler because he watches The Real Housewives. Point is, not only are these officers not held accountable for these horrible incidents, but also everyone should have seen these catastrophes coming. When you create an environment in which cops aren't held accountable for anything, they just keep getting crazier and crazier. Investigative reporter Matt Taibbi spent time looking into what goes on in New York and wrote, if you really feel like it, you can definitely sue the NYPD. You might even win, but there's not necessarily any consequence. In fact, when there are successful lawsuits, individual officers typically aren't even informed of it. They're not even informed. Not even a phone call, a Snapchat, something. We don't seem to look after police departments even as well as we look after our teeth. You have a cavity or gum disease, you take steps to fix the problem. Keep your mouth cleaner. Stop brushing your teeth with saltwater taffy and vodka, right? You do that so you don't completely end up with a rotted out mouth. But with our police departments, we find out we have a cavity and we don't clean it up. We don't say, hey, get the hell out of here, you megalomaniacal freak show. And then we act surprised when all the teeth are screwed up. Wait, are we still talking about teeth? But really, you thought you were going to get restraint and thoughtful action from the guy with the roid rage walking around going, peanut butter needs to go empty pants. Boom shakalaka.